Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Well, guys, it's Monday. Weekend goes really quick. And thank you all for being here. Thank you, subscribers and new subscribers, the old subscribers. Thank you very much. I am so grateful that these messages are resonating with you and that you guys are continuously showing up here on this channel. And please continue to share these messages so that it can get to other people and reach them and they can hear these messages as well. So keep in mind that I am not a counselor, a social worker, or a therapist. I'm just someone who went through a lot of grief, a lot of just really, really awful stuff. And I was able to, with the help of God, bring myself back through it. Because it's really been difficult. But things are better now, and I thank God for that. And I'm doing the work, and I'm reached a of inner peace. I've also learned not to tune out the noise because it used to bother me so much, and I just tune it out. So, guys, I'll talk about some ways I've done that, and perhaps whatever you're going through, maybe you might hear something that might resonate with you, and perhaps it can apply. It can help you with your own situation that you might be going through. So, with that being said, guys, the topic of discussion today is when others want to destroy your peace and your progress. When others want to destroy your peace and progress. That's a big one for me because I really can't understand why would someone not want to see somebody else grow, heal, and evolve. They don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you be successful. And I really like going to prayer a lot with God about that one because two stories I have to tell you before going actually into this topic today is that one person who a while ago I had a mentor when I started my business. I had already established it and everything because I have a small business where I talk about conflict resolutions. And with that, um, at some point after college, I got a mentor and, to help me to like with the website and things that I needed to polish up, right? And I really, um, how do I say this, admired the mentor and thought that he had my back and he was there and helping me. And when I go into prayer, right? I ask God to show me because sometimes I can't see behind the mask. I'm not perfect. Show me people who don't support me, people who are pretending, etc., and so forth. And I got this crazy email because we haven't spoken in a while since I moved from the area where I was living. And after a year, I get this weird email. And it's so hurtful, guys, that I'm like, where did this come from? It's an email that really made me realize that this person didn't have my back at all. They didn't want to see me be successful. They didn't want to see me thrive. They didn't want to see me win. And one moment, guys. I'm going to grab some water here. What happened is that a year and a half ago, when I was living in an area where I lived before, I decided, about mental health, like I talk on YouTube before I really started um, doing this daily on YouTube. What I did is I worked a lot of hours so that I could pay for. This was like a playhouse that had a stage, lights, and everything. And I prepared a presentation. It took me 2 weeks to develop. So I was still working like I do now. And in between, like when I had a break like I do now, I would work. I would do the presentation for mental health, the grief, all of that, what I've gone through, from my point of view of what I've gone through. And I put together everything. And I had to pay money to um, I think it was 2 hours that I secured a spot there. I rented the space for 2 hours. And then I wanted people to be comfortable when they came in. So I also worked some extra hours more so that I can pay for people to have breakfast, because I think I was expecting about 30 people to show up. And people were telling me they were going to be there. I had flyers developed, everything. It took a lot out of me, and it was a lot of work, guys. And the stage, the Playhouse had this beautiful stage, and the lady there did the lights, and she set up everything. It was beautiful, and not one person showed up. And I thought, wait a minute, not one person showed up. I networked in person, went to various organizations. They, RSVP to say they were going to be there. All of this, not one person. And I can't even explain how crushed I was, because a lot of money and time and effort went into this, and no one showed up. And then the mentor himself didn't show up. But why did you not show up? Oh, because I thought it was at noon. But yet you have the flyers, because when I gave everyone flyers and it had all the information on there. So how could you make that mistake? And I really, how you suspect, but you say to yourself, nah, this can't be really happening. And this is somebody who's supposed to be helping me. Until recently, till about a week ago, when I get this weird email. I'm not even going to go into the details of it, but it was nothing to uplifting. The mask, I'm going to say it in this manner because we are on YouTube, right? The mask came off and I saw behind it. And now I know who the culprit is, why these people didn't show up. But this is somebody behind the scenes trying to sabotage my business instead of trying to help me to, bring business to it. And I didn't know this, but now I do. So what I do is cut off, block, and delete. What I did is responded to that email, that I'm doing great. Now that I've left the area and left all that situation and toxicity behind me, I'm doing well with the help of God. Always put God in that, And there was no other reply to it, because what was said was hurtful in there, and it was meant to be hurtful. So sometimes we can't see behind a mask. That's why I always stay in prayer and ask God to reveal it to me, because sometimes we have vultures, and leeches and people who may say they're happy for us and they want to help us and support us. But sometimes that's not the case. People are trying to sabotage what you're building up. And it just, now I know. So I cut off, block, and delete, and I do my business myself. I work and do whatever I need to, but I'm very careful now, when I interact with other people. And I had another situation where I had a business situation. It didn't have anything to do with my personal business, but just a place I go to, that I was going to. But it started to be some unprofessional stuff going on, some toxic stuff. I addressed it, it continued, and it escalated to the point where I said, this I'm proud of, because the old version of myself would just disappear and not be seen again, But I addressed it and said why I'm not dealing with this anymore, and I did that, and that was it, So I know I'm growing, healing, evolving, getting better, because I'm addressing these issues. It's not an argument when I'm just saying I just won't be back here. That's it. And then I move forward, close doors. And what I notice, guys, as I do this, and even though it's painful, it hurts, as I close these doors, you know what happens? As I close these doors, I started more positive things start to happen in my life. I don't, as I close these doors to toxicity, because that's one of my vows to God. And I'm not talking about a disagreement or some kind of miscommunication. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about just toxic stuff where people just want to start drama starters and just doing the most and the worst. When you have that kind of stuff around you, you can't grow, heal, and evolve. It's a distraction. It's a huge distraction. Um, so, guys, excuse me, because of it, it's a huge distraction and it will distract you from healing. So sometimes you have to really set boundaries. In my case, I just choose to cut off, block, and delete because I have no time for that. And I will not allow anything to interfere with my vows to God and the things I need to do. But I'm glad that it's being seen, so that I can catch it and not allow myself to spend more time in these negative situations, and I could see it for what it is and then just cut it off and continue on this path, that I'm on. So the moral of the story that I'm sharing with you is when you see things like this and people are doing these kind of things, and like I said, I'm not talking about disagreements. I'm just talking about toxic behavior, drama starters, and people just continuously doing toxic things to take you off your path of healing, and taking care of yourself. Sometimes you have to set strong boundaries, very strong boundaries, and and keep moving forward. Never allow anyone to take you off the path of healing your mental and physical health and taking care of yourself. That should be a priority. I remember years ago when my son was, I guess he must have been about 2 or 3, and my ex sister-in-law, um, I was very proud of her because she did all the credentials, everything, and had a daycare in her home. She had everything set up, and before I went to work, I would drop my son off there. And she was no longer, with my brother, and she was um, had this daycare. And one of the things about it is that, things were good and going well. And, she had this boyfriend at the time. And this is how people have your back, and it may look like that in the beginning and things seem fine. But I remember walking in after coming home from work to go pick up my son, and there was this major argument going on right there. I think I was the last one that day to come and pick up my son, um, because I travel on a train, all that other stuff. And they were arguing. And one of the things that he said that made my mouth drop is he said to her in an argument, he didn't care who was standing there, but people were there picking up their children. He didn't care. I would tear all of this shit down to the ground, and you won't have nothing when I get through with it. And I know she forgave it after everything calmed down and he apologized and etc. But for me, that's huge when I hear words like that, because this is not, in my opinion, this is not someone who has my back. And for me, the least I am today, if I'm in a relationship with someone, whether it's a friendship or whether it's romantic or family or whatever, if someone said anything like that to me, like I said, the forgiveness is for me, but I will just say, okay, I can't deal with this anymore. And I would tell the person, it wouldn't be me just not dealing with them. I'm going to tell you why. That's the difference between me today. I'm going to tell you why I'm not dealing with you. And because something like that being said stays with me, because it shows that this person doesn't have my back. They want to sabotage what I work hard to build up. And that's never okay. And when someone want to sabotage your peace, your healing, and they don't want to see you heal, grow, and evolve, that's a huge problem to me. And it's a huge red flag. And it tells me, okay, I have to cut this off, cut off, block, and delete and keep moving. And it hurts, it stings a little bit, but it's important for me to always take care of myself, because people, as I always tell you, if you're not okay, you can't take care of yourself or anyone else or anything around you. So it's important to prioritize your mental and physical health. So I'm just using that as an example And I wasn't doing the healing work back then, but I just knew something being said like that for me, it would be over for good. I wouldn't care what they would be promising, you know. But anyway, moving forward, it's important to set boundaries. I have some notes here with those who do not want to see you win. Because some people will have your back and they'll be there for you. Those are the people you need to keep around you. People who want to see you win, people who want to see you grow, heal, and evolve, and who are happy to help you do so. You know, there are people out there who will have your back, but the ones who don't, you can see behind that mask. As you start to do the work to heal and go into prayer and things, you start to see, because the actions, as I said in a prior video, will show you who people are. They can tell you A, B, C, D, and E, but look at their actions. If the actions don't match what they're saying, and the math doesn't is not mathing, then pay attention to that, because that's going to tell you everything that you need to know. And it's just like when somebody likes to lie and spread malicious lies and rumors about other people. And some people are already on that hate train because they just want to see the drama. But if you pay attention to the behavior, you would see, you know, if someone did something so malicious and foul and dirty, their life wouldn't be elevating. It wouldn't be growing. It wouldn't be going anywhere because, like I said, that's not how it works. So you would see what the truth is. Research and see what the truth is. You know, this is why I don't pay attention to rumors or anything that's being said, because God will always reveal what is the truth. You will always be able to see that at the end. So set boundaries when people want to be drama starters and create negativity, especially when you're trying to heal from all of these things. Um, Okay, I have some notes here, guys, and I want to cover some things here. Um, when you clear out the toxicity from your life, you start to feel better, you know, because you don't feel burdened and weighed down. I mean, I used to feel so burdened and weighed down because of the toxic stuff, you know, over and over again. Then you close one door and then you go to another and it's more toxicity. And I used to ask myself, what am I doing wrong here? But like I said to you guys, and like I do in prior videos, people, circumstances, and situations come into our lives for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And many of these for me was unlearned lessons. So I had to learn these lessons quickly. And one of the ways that I did besides therapy is doing a pro and con list to see, you know, what they were given to these connections, whether it was family, friends, or relationship, and what I was given. And the cons always outweigh the pros in these situations. So I had to um, really do some serious thinking and then just make some decisions. And the decisions I made was for my highest good. Because when you're trying to heal from hurts and pains that have had you feel like you had burdens and tons of bricks on your back, you have to heal those things. You can't keep carrying those things. Otherwise, you can't heal, grow, and evolve. So I had to throw those bricks off my back. And one of the ways I did that is by giving those things to God and then making vows that I would close these doors to these toxic situations. Because how can you heal? How can you grow? How can you get better if you still have these toxic circumstances and people and situations around you? You can't grow, heal, and evolve. And I had to make those hard decisions. And when I closed those doors, as painful as it was, you know, as I continue to move forward and do the work, it got lighter and lighter. And now I'm at a place of peace. I don't, when I see toxicity, like I said, you know, it makes me sad because it comes from unexpected sources and people, you know, but, you know, I'm glad that I see it ahead of time instead of spending years and years and not see it until years later, because I can nip it in the bud sooner than later and close those doors and then redirect the focus right back to my healing. It's important, people, that we stay on this path. We may, some days we're human. We make mistakes. We don't feel like doing this and that, but make sure the next day you get up and you continue to heal yourself. And one of the ways I do so, besides staying in prayer, is time to myself. We all need time to ourselves on a daily, even if you're taking an hour and a half just to do something to uplift your spirit. Because right now we're living in a time of uncertainty with a whole bunch of toxicity and drama playing out. And keep your mental away from all of that. I Of course we have to see just a tiny bit of it so that we see what's going on and know what's going on, but let's not make that a priority. Let's continue to heal our mental and physical health. Music helps me. Yesterday I spent few hours just with music, because I felt grief coming on a little bit, and I just put on the music. And after I did that, I felt a whole lot better. Do things to uplift your spirit. Be around people who are going to help you and support you, even if they can't change your circumstances that you're going through, but just that person being there to listen to you, just to be a support system. Sometimes that's all we need. And if you have people like that around you, cherish that. And keep people like that in your life is so important. And let's keep moving forward and helping other people as well, because as I help others, it helped me also to stay on this path. Let's keep moving forward. That's the way we win. That's the way we take our power back from those who want to abuse us, those who don't want to see us win, those who want to see us broken down, busted, and disgusted. That's how we win. We take our power back, turn that pain into power, power into purpose, purpose into moving forward to help others as we help ourselves on this path called life. That's the message today, guys. Go and do something uplifting. Take care of yourself, enjoy the weather, get out in nature, and then just keep doing these on a daily basis. And as you feel better, you do better, and then you start to experience that inner peace like I've been experiencing. And then you tune out the noise around you. Again, that's the message today, guys. Please subscribe to the channel so that you know when I'm on, so that you can join me live and share these messages with others, because who knows what they may be going through, and they may need to hear something uplifting, and it may help them as well. Well, guys, I will see you again sometime tomorrow. Thank you for being here, and you guys go and have a great day. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.